Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dominic, for the very warm welcome. It really matters to me, and it matters this work I used to do, but now he took it over. So thank you. So, yeah. So I know you're maybe all tired because today was a long day, and yeah, probably you had a lot of mingling. You had coffee, too many coffees, who knows, or maybe yes, yes. Many things happen, maybe, a lot of talks where you needed some brain capacity. But don't worry, this one doesn't need much brain capacity. You are here to enjoy, relax. This is the last talk. After this, there is beer, apparently. So that's the last one. Okay? So before we really start, I would like to ask you if you maybe happen to have a piece of paper. I know it's old-fashioned, piece of paper and a pen, maybe from one of the great sponsors outside. You got some agenda, or if not, the usual phone or laptop, hopefully, but you will need something to practically write down or type in something. So in the meantime, if you have it, please get it prepared, because this is important for the exercise we are going to do, and this is the essence of this talk. So very easy, but maybe with impact, okay? So that's why I would like to just tell you to be prepared, and let's hope you also have some inspiration for it, yes. Okay. And also, I know that maybe try to imagine that on this stage today, here in Berlin, would have been people like, I don't know, Windsurf, or someone else, Alan Turing, why not? Imagine. I know what you think. They are outstanding, right? They are amazing. They did great things for all of us, for humanity. Why not? And yes, they are outstanding, they are amazing, they have a lot of things to talk about, but today are going to talk about you, and you are going to realize that you're also outstanding. Yes, each one of you are outstanding as well, not only them. So, yes, it's very ambitious, but let's hope I can make it. So, yeah, let's get started. Who I am. Well, my name is Ioana Rosu. I am originally from Romania. I am based in Berlin. I have been living in Berlin for quite some while now. I am working like a software engineer, doing Elixir in my daily life, mainly, in a company named Solaris, here in Berlin as well. And I work in a small team. I do what as well some of you do in the daily life, so nothing out of extraordinary for now. And why I'm here? Well, I'm here with my only purpose to tell you that you are outstanding, and I'm going to try it until the end. And also for the remote audience, same for you. I'm going to try it. I hope you have your pen, because for you it might be easier to have it, because maybe you're home or in the office. So I really hope you have it. And to whom it might concern, this topic of mine. So I'm not going to address only to tech people, to maybe we have product managers here, maybe we don't, but, or not people from Mint, from any particular field. I'm going to address to everyone. This topic addresses to everyone, even to the great guy there doing the microphone. He might suffer from it as well. Yes, so maybe it's good to just listen a bit. And I would like to also introduce you to the summary of the talk. It's not very big. Anyway, who has the brain capacity for a very big, deep topic now? So I will start with this practical exercise I was talking about. And then I'm going to introduce you to the imposter syndrome. I mean, just very, like a really light summary of what it is, some kind of definition. Maybe some of you, you never heard of it. It's very unlikely, but just in case, at least to have a summary of it. And important, I will try to to tell you how we can be aware of it. And yes, John, just one of the ways you can take if you are in danger, or important, maybe someone else next to you is in danger of going on this side, and then maybe you can do something about it, and maybe you can help. And you will also have a homework. So yes, this is a talk with a homework. I like homeworks, so I also give some homework, but don't worry, it's a very interesting homework to do. I hope I'm not going to give you any kind of cold shiver from some old school days. So yes, let's get started. This is just the small exercise I was talking about. So now I will try to just introduce you to it. It's very easy. So you will have to write it down, or you will have to just have a mental note on only this phrase: I am outstanding because I, and then you will have to fill in. And just think, I am outstanding because I don't know. This is your example, but my example might be, this is just an example, okay. I am outstanding because I survived cancer. I am outstanding because I helped my child to not cry in the days in the kindergarten. Or I am outstanding because I just help a colleague to simply move on with a pull request. There should be something that you are proud, and it might be some highlight in your life, and it's just is there in your mind, but maybe you are not aware of it. So it's important to just put it there, out, and then to just build from it. And you'll understand why in a minute. And I'm really, really convinced that you have something, at least one line to put there for you, why you are outstanding. I'm really convinced you are. And for you to know, this exercise was done with many people in different contexts, and it can have quite some impact, to be honest, done it proper way, in a very, where you put it a lot of confidence inside, and then there are some people, they feel like they are safe. It can show a lot from it. And there were cases, in fact, where people started to actually cry. It was a cry not because of sad reasons, but of kind of relief. So I know it sounds a bit silly maybe, but just try it. Just give it a try. You might discover beautiful things there. So, and of course you have time to think until the end. And I hope you can make it. Now, let's go to the serious part. So, what is imposter syndrome? Probably you heard about it, but if you didn't, then this imposter syndrome is self-doubt. And this self-doubt, it's a self-doubt of intellect, of skills, of accomplishments. In general, for people like me, or in the tech field, it's feeling inadequate in technical skills, maybe. Or, the most important, and this is quite interesting to know, for people, it's this feeling of being exposed. And then the question is, to whom? To whom do you feel that you are exposed? And especially that you are not good enough. And this not good enough, this can build in just going to dragons for not being good enough. How many times maybe you heard that I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not good enough to do the other thing. I'm not good enough to, I don't know, take another job because it looks like super amazing. That's not for me. Are you really sure that you're not good enough? Maybe you are. So then, of course, it's important to be aware of it. It's not enough to know what it is. This self-doubt, this not being good enough. But it's also important to understand how you can be aware of it. And why? So for you to know, this syndrome is not something there like running between us and then moving on, it affects all people. It affects people of all genders, of all religions, of all backgrounds, cultures, everything. And it can occur in so many situations, and especially I would say that it hits in the most inappropriate situation. And for example, will be in the job interviews where I can perform very badly because I know already, it's in the back in my mind, I'm not good enough, I cannot do this thing, I'm not good, I'm not going to perform, so this is not great, right? Or you can be aware of it in public speaking. Who thinks can, like from the very, very beginning, that can talk without any kind of problems? I mean, congrats if you can do that. But yes, this can be as well a problem. And of course, it's dangerous because it fuels some deeper problem, and those deeper problems can be sleep disturbance, can be, worst of all, depression, can be anxiety, psychological distress, insecurity. This is there. And eventually can go from all of it, or just partially, or different combination, they can go to very, very poor work satisfaction, and especially, maybe important for you, performance. This performance being whoever you are, I would say that probably you would like to perform well, to do a great job, to be happy with what you're doing. So if you have a poor performance, then cannot go so great. And this reflects on the thoughts, and this reflects on the behavior, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is an imposter syndrome paradox, because this, from my research for the talk, I realized that this is not happening only in the professional world, but it can start in early ages. And apparently, to some studies, it can start very, very early. Even children, they can have it. Maybe who is parent here, maybe you are aware of that. But also you can find it in universities. And apparently, according to the source I found, I hope it's a good source, a scary number of CS students, they already suffer this syndrome. So 57, this is a lot, and this is just the beginning of a career. So those people, they come with a baggage, and then they have to also perform. And imagine the dimension when you come already with this baggage from behind, and then of course, you get grades and so on and so forth. But it's not like performing, you don't have managers, or you don't have family, you have more or less not so many responsibilities, and then you already have it. So important to know. And this was a discovery for me as well, because I always thought that it comes to just people having a normal life, regular life. But no, this is a lie. The paradox is that this imposter syndrome comes through, and often, to very highly skilled person. They suffer from it from some reason, even though for other people like me, like outsiders, this looks impossible. Those people, they cannot suffer from such a thing. They will always think that I'm great, or I'm doing an amazing job, or they might never think like I'm not good enough for something, especially for the field they really activate in. But no, this happens, and this happens especially for them. And yes, examples can be found in every industry. It's not about tech, mint, whatever. It can be in all industries, and it can be starting from the very, very beginning in the career. And of course, there are signs. One of the signs is overcompensating. I'm not sure how many of you had maybe a colleague or someone who thought it's not good enough and tried to practically cover it, working extra hours, doing extra things, doing extra communication. In general, going very, very far extra mile because the person thought it's not good enough, it's not working enough. I had myself, and then it's visible. It's not necessarily a bad thing, just isolated, but together with other things, apparently not great. Or maybe some other example of overcompensating is when someone thinks that is not a very good communicator. When it's not a very good communicator, sometimes the very opposite is happening when the person tries to talk a lot, but a lot, and not with necessarily an essence, and trying to overcompensate. Sometimes that's also a recognizable sign. Of course, another sign is constant comparison to other people. Maybe you have it, and I was talking yesterday practically with a person here from my country. We have it in our culture. In the country I come from, we have it. And it's very, very deep in our brain to compare with other people. And it goes beyond any competition, beyond any kind of normal competition, but goes in comparing all the time with other people, which eventually cannot go in a good direction. It's good to compete, it's good to try to be always the best version of yourself, but competing and being all the time aware that X or Y is better than me, maybe it's not the best. And of course, this comparison, overcompensating and so on, they can go to anxiety, always having this feeling deep down in the mind of anxiety for whatever, sometimes even to just write a simple email back. Some people, they really suffer from that, this anxiety of just replying. What would happen? I'm not going to write great. Of course, self-doubt. This is very obvious. And then it can come to negative self-talk. Yes, those people, they also talk internally, or maybe with other people, maybe colleagues, or maybe family, they talk in a negative way, in a sense. And then, of course, because all those things together, they just have to be sustained. And those people, they will always, always try to reach on facts, but they will not reach on the facts that actually matter to just move on and have a growth mindset, but they will dwell on the past. They will try to find all the time in the past examples sustaining the negativity, sustaining the anxiety, sustaining everything. And then, of course, it creates a big, big bubble of something that it shouldn't be there and doesn't help anyone. And downplaying achievements. This is something that from my research, I figured it out that it's happening in general to women. I don't know why, because I'm not an expert. I don't know why, but apparently it's happening to women. And downplaying achievement, it's always trying to reject any kind of compliment, trying to reject any kind of congratulations for whatever good thing that was done by the person. It doesn't necessarily mean it's imposter syndrome, but sometimes it's just very likely that downplaying achievement to be a sign. And of course, yet another thing that I was talking yesterday, it's about the fear of code reviews. So I'm not sure about you, but I remember some time ago when I started this career having this fear all the time. This code is not good enough. I have to refactor it over and over again because my peers, they will say this is just trash. And this fear was inside me for a while. And maybe it should not have been this way, because there are environments where people should be encouraged to just try and fail and try and fail and try, not to have this fear of just having the work done, having the work being reviewed, having the work being improved. And, sorry, of course, there is a danger of keeping quiet, because you might think that it's irrelevant, it doesn't matter, but there is a danger sometimes in keeping quiet. It can generate a lot of stress. And also the stress is not the only thing. It can be the silent killer of self-confidence. This is important nowadays. Of course, missed opportunities for growth. And definitely all other people around being affected, because no matter what, the people will interact to each other, and this is just propagating, and propagating it is creating an environment which is not the best. It's not supportive, or who knows. But the most important thing I would like to mention, at least from my perspective, is this missed opportunities for growth. Because how many times maybe you had a call with someone for an interview, or I'm not sure, maybe there are here people having their own business. How many times you had a call telling you, like, look, we have this opportunity for you. And then the imposter syndrome kicks in and you think, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not there yet. I'm going to wait for 1 more year, 3 years, 5 years. Just maybe then I'm ready to have it. Sometimes it's true, you are not ready, but sometimes maybe it's not true. How many times I heard that, for example, for applying for a job, there are also other studies, especially, again, women, I'm sorry, but this is there on the internet. We don't apply for a job because we do not fulfill 100% the requirements, 100%, but who expects to fulfill 100%? You have to be suitable, but not 100%, maybe. Maybe. There are some perfectionists out there, so I'm sorry. Yes. Of course, there are good news. So I came here like a messenger. There are good news. It's not all black. There are good news. Where there is a will, there is a way. At least this is what I try to say. This is also part of my culture, so not only bad things, also good things. And like this little flower here, of course it's hard. It's hard to just go through the cement, but one flower and then second flower and then many flowers and then everything is fine. You are perfect, you create a perfect environment, everyone is happy. And if this whole dry theory was not enough, I came prepared to show you. And I will have a little demonstration, but it's more like a metaphor of whatever I was presenting previously. And I will just have some visual exercise for people who are just like me. I like the visuals. So it's very easy for me to understand visually, so maybe I will help you out there, the visuals. But not before drinking some water. Do I still have? Yes, I still have the microphone. And I really hope that people from the remote audience can see me. So, the visual. Let's imagine this open bottle. I'm not going to use a glass because, you know, the usual exercise with half full glass, because I don't want to spill and then Monica will just be upset. But with the glass, it's easier. So, the glass with the bottle, sorry. So imagine this is just a person who is amazing, who has a flourishing life, has no stress, doesn't exist, but has no stress, just imagine, is just not anxious, has a very nice life, has a great family, has great children, etc., etc. That's, I'm very jealous. This is full, okay? This is full. But then can come the imposter syndrome. And what happens? There is some lack of sleep, but then it's also hopefully not depression. And then anxiety. We still have, it's fine, but then psychological distress and insecurity. You still have something? Okay. And then, of course, What's next? Like, this is very obvious. Poor work satisfaction. And eventually, overall, it cannot be that something else than just poor performance. And look at that. This is gone. And look what's left. So just from the imposter syndrome and all the possible consequences that you can have. I don't want to scare you. I just want to make you aware, okay? But this can happen. I really hope that you'll never get in this state. No, nobody like you or your family or your children or your peers. So yes, I really hope that at least I made you aware. Okay. And, of course, enough with what's bad. There are strategies. There are a lot of strategies you can take to simply do that and have a flourishing life. For today, because the topic is really wide, I couldn't do much. But the first strategy I will focus on more down the line. So this is the strategy focusing on the facts and going for the evidence, especially because it's very dear to me. I'm quite a logical person, and then having facts all the time, it helps. Of course, another strategy is to set measurable, realistic goals for skills development. You know, those big roadmaps, how to be X or Y, and then the branches never end. There is even like ... Then this will never end. Of course, it's good to develop, it's good to have skills development in general, but there is also some border. And then you can have measurable and realistic goals. And then, of course, yet another strategy, and this is very nice, not easy to achieve sometimes because of different reasons, is just seek support from colleagues. Just speak up because they can help. Maybe they had this issue, so maybe your colleague will understand you, will help. And also mentors. They are so nice, and I really hope that you have a mentor. It's so important to have one, and it's so safe to talk with a mentor, because the mentor supposedly is only focused to make you be better, to just grow. So if you don't have a mentor, maybe it's a good idea to have one. I know it's not easy to find a good one or some match, but if you can have it, it's amazing to have a mentor. They can always help. Or join a tech community. They can also help. They can also have the same problems that you had. Or they can just guide you somewhere else. Or maybe then you realize that actually you have amazing ideas. And you thought that you don't have it because you have imposter syndrome, but they will tell you that you are doing great, you have amazing ideas. So a tech community can help. Or they can be very enthusiastic, like was here the colleague from Kenya. They are very enthusiastic, they do a great job. So it's not bad to join, just to be there. And this is not necessarily a strategy, but something that it can be done is to anticipate. So maybe I will help you, or maybe you don't need it. Maybe this is the best. But like a strategy is also to be aware of it and to practically be prepared and to anticipate. When you see it's happening, maybe just go research, go for some help, go do something, and then you can just move on easily from the situation. And like I always propose, sport. Yes, sport, I know, is the antidote for everything, but really is. So yes, sport, just easy one, or other type of sport. For the imposter syndrome, apparently it's good to have some sport where you can practically also interact with some team members. So football players, just go for it. It's very unlikely you'll suffer from imposter syndrome. No, I'm just kidding, of course. But there is some evidence that when you go interact, and then when you do this thing, also it's physical activity can help with many things. But there is also building the self-confidence, because there is a skill, and this skill can give you some reward, and by reward you also will build self-confidence. So this is like the order. It makes you feel good in general. The endorphins and everything when you run or you do something is good. Cannot harm in general. And going back to the original, because remember that I was talking about accomplishments and then talking them and make other people aware of the accomplishments. And this was one of the strategies from before. I would like to tell you why to share them. Just because it's good. Also, it's good to recognize and celebrate the contributions to projects. So many of us, we just forget to simply celebrate them. But it can help in many directions. It can help with confidence. It can help with the peers. It can help creating a bond. It can help having this sense in to have a sense of being proud of the work done. And then all of them together, it can counteract the syndrome, which is really, really important. I know it's hard to share achievements because you might feel like, yeah, but who would like to know? Or maybe this is bragging, but no, achievements are just achievements, and put it out there, they cannot really harm, put it like in a proper form. And as I said, there are, of course, benefits. And not only the one from before and self-confidence, but important is foster a culture of support and also gives a sense of relief. And yes, especially to me, I tested it and apparently gives me some relief. But there is also a culture of support, because when you share achievement, where you're self-confident, when you create this confidence in the environment that you currently act, then the other people will kind of mirror. And then it's going to create some kind of culture where people simply, they just interact good with each other, and then it's just a great environment to join or to have new joiners. I mean, if you have a really bad team, maybe there will be people wanting to join, but maybe not. So ultimately, of course, I guess you know already that achievements or accomplishments do not speak for themselves. Yes, there are just hypothetical facts there, but do not speak for themselves. You have to promote them, and by promoting them, you promote yourself. And yes, you have to base them on facts, but do not speak for themselves. So therefore, you have to speak for yourself. Therefore, I would like to stress this. This doesn't mean that you don't have to be humble, because being humble and being an extraordinary person, it doesn't mean that you don't share achievements. It's just that you don't go in a different direction, which nobody really wants, of not being humble. I'm not going to name the word here. But yes, please try to stay humble while sharing your achievements based on facts. And, of course, I wanted to base my talk also on success stories. I tried to make a mix. Of course, you heard of Serena Williams, hopefully. She suffered deeply of this imposter syndrome, even though personally I think she's doing, and she did an amazing job in her field. But apparently she had it as well, and she had to deal with it. Tom Hanks, yes, an actor, a great one, but yes, he suffered from that. Sheryl Sandberg, you probably know her as well. And Maya Angelou, if you don't know her, she's an extraordinary woman, and she was proposed, as far as I know, for the Nobel Prize, but still she suffers deeply from this syndrome. And I can continue the list of success stories, because they are success stories, especially from what they did, but also for what they did as well in the direction to practically cover the syndrome or try to treat it, and therefore they are success stories. And I also put it there, the source, maybe if you would like to try it. to try to check it, sorry. And yes, we are not far. No worries. Back to the original exercise. So now maybe you will think like, what does it have to do, the original exercise, with what was presented here? So let me clarify that for you. Remember, the exercise was, I am outstanding because I, and it's very important to say I. So I'm outstanding because I. Okay? This, of course, it has to be based on the last part of the sentence, and that's the fact. I'm outstanding because I. Let's go with an example, because I gifted to my partner a cat, because my partner was very, very much into cats, and then this really created a very, very happy partner. Yes, it can be amazing. So it can have amazing results. Yes, but then it's a fact, right? It's a fact. You gifted a cat because you are an empathetic person and you care about your partner. Therefore, you took some acts and you bought a cat, and the cat is a fact. It's not just something on paper. It's there. It's a cat. So you did it. Okay? So you are outstanding because you gifted a cat. And if you tell to one of your friends, look, I bought to my partner a cat, or gifted, then, of course, this is not bragging. This is just something that you share to the world. It's important for people to know, and you're proud of it, because everything is fine. You have a cat, the partner has a cat, everyone is happy. And you can also tell to other people, this is not bragging. No, this is not bragging, because it's based on facts. And what can go wrong? Nobody cares. But you care, so who cares? Yes, so no. Things can go wrong, of course, but depends on how you put out there the information and how you base it on facts. It can go in a very, very good direction and going right. Or, for example, let's try to go back to work and performance. Imagine that you can tell you are proposed to have a promotion, and then you have to practically present the case to your manager, and you can say like, okay, maybe you cannot start with how am I stating because I, but you can say, look, I did this right, and I think I worked this promotion because I, and then you say the facts. There are facts. No, the manager cannot say anything about it. Or, important, of course, based on facts, I guess there are people also suffering from it from the business perspective. I mean, to be a business owner, I would assume that you also have to base your proposal on facts. For example, if you go to your investors, if you need some investment round, and then you go to your investors and you are very scared and you have imposter syndrome, you yourself, you don't think you are going to get it, or you worked to get the money. Therefore, the investors will feel that, and then imagine, maybe you are not going to get it. But once you get prepared, even though you don't think internally, it doesn't matter, but if you have facts, maybe it's a different story and a different results. So that's the part which can get in the right direction. And I will just wrap it up. I have some takeaways. Okay, Dominic, I'm done. Okay. Please try to remember. It's not necessary to remember all the definition, everything dry, but take away, try to remember. Consider the evidence all the time. This will help. Reframe how you perceive failure. What is failure actually? Failure is just a way to learn. It's just the first iteration, the second iteration until you are successful. So reframe it in your mind. Embrace successes. Yes, successes, they have to be celebrated. Then, I don't know, don't jump from feature to feature without having any kind of celebration when you have these milestones. Celebrate every milestone. It's important. Also to celebrate successes. When you fail, you are sad, and when you are successful, celebrate, right? This is the normal emotion. Set realistic expectations. Of course, it's good to shoot for the moon, but also to expect that sometimes you are not going to reach it. So also try to measure it with some realistic expectations, because then you can practically have a scale to see what you've done, what you didn't do, and then you can adjust. Stop comparing yourself to others. This is especially for me. Okay, so stop comparing to others. And I would like to hear from you now, what's the word describing how you are? Starts with O. Outstanding. Yes, you are outstanding. This is the last thing for you to just go out the door. You are outstanding. And, of course, your homework. I didn't forget about that. So, fast. Your homework today will be, or when you have time, to just go home or where you would like to go and have the piece of paper or have the note or whatever you have, or just your mental frame, and say it out loud. Whatever you put it there, go to someone you are confident that it's not going to judge or it's not going to have some bad impact, but then say it out loud. Go to your partner, family, child, pets. Talk to your pets. Tell them. Or I did it myself with a mirror. I know it sounds silly, but just try it, and you might find yourself in the situation that you cannot tell to yourself in the mirror why you are outstanding. So just try it. It makes a little difference. So yes, this is the homework. And I also have some additional resources, but those ones, as I see very impatient, Dominic, you have additional resources. I just put together a list of things that you might find useful. I found them useful, especially those worksheets, because there is just data there, and you can see different aspects, but those aspects are based on data, so maybe it's important for you. This is the project happiness. This is very interesting as well. Volunteering work always helps sometimes to reflect, because you interact with some people in different volunteering projects, and those people or situations, they might actually go and you can reflect on yourself. So this can help sometimes. Consider some apps. I'm not going to recommend any because I don't want to promote any kind of apps, but are plenty of them. You can find them and they can help you, hopefully. Just find something suitable. Or therapy. I know it's a bit difficult for some people to just recognize it and go, but it can help. There are those people, they help. So just reach out to them. And yes, last note, I would like to just tell you that I'm not an expert. I have no studies, nothing connected with anything psychology, psychiatry, or anything alike. I'm just probably like you. I just have an interest, so please, when you do something, just try to research a bit for yourself and then act on something. So yes, take it with just a grain of salt. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ioana. That was really great. And the first time I heard about the imposter syndrome for myself, like, it was really relieving. I don't know how that was for you guys, but I was at university and I thought I'm the only one thinking all the time, like, how can I not know the answers? Like, it's so weird. And then I read about this is actually a thing, and like, especially in CS, especially in the thing we do, like, a lot of people have it. And just to highlight, there's also the opposite effect of that, Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know if you have read about that. And it's really a dangerous combination, because you have us experts on the one side doubting ourselves and being the imposters, and then you have the guy on the other side who doesn't know anything about something, but is really sure. That's a Dunning-Kruger effect. And both effects are very real. So just be aware, and thank you so much for highlighting that, Ioana. I think we have a couple of minutes for questions, if there are. Francisco, what do you think?
Well, yeah, interesting, because, yeah, you mentioning, the first time I heard about imposter syndrome, the first time I heard about imposter syndrome, learned about it, was actually at the Code Beam, where, someone in the audience asked one of the speakers, do you suffer from imposter syndrome? And I found it really interesting. And I mean, my question to you is, have you seen, and I think more than that, it was more cultural. Because some cultures, you're a bit more humble. You're not allowed to brag, but it's okay if others brag about what you do. And I'm wondering if you've seen any, kind of humbleness being mixed with imposter syndrome, so being mistaken by it.
In fact, I've seen. And this culture that you are talking about of being afraid of bragging and staying very humble, this is, from my perception, the culture I come from. Therefore, it was quite important for me to understand that there is quite some border between bragging and actually speaking for myself. Of course, I tried to stay humble because I just personally consider that it's a good state for myself and is working for myself. But I saw that indeed bragging is something different than practically speaking for myself. So I also saw other people in different contexts, but yeah, I'm not sure if I will share who those people are, but I saw them as well because I had the privilege to work in a very international environment, and I saw people from all over the world, from all religions or cultures, and it's very interesting to interact with them and to realize these aspects. And of course, it's very interesting for people managing the culture, how to deal with that. So yes, I've seen.
There's a question over here.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I think now you mentioned the imposter syndrome. Everyone now doubting himself and making like.
Oh no.
Am I really? But my question, I know you are not the expert, but it's like at some point, is it contagious? This imposter syndrome, like. Yeah, and also the other half of is it contagious, and also is it some sort like if you have someone, can you like unconsciously like feed this feeling and make it worse for them? Maybe we need to take care.
To the first question, I don't know. I try not to speak when I do not have the research behind. So I don't know. I hope not, because this will be scary. I hope not is contagious. But for the second one, yes. There are people actually feeding it, and that's why it's good to be personally aware of it, at least not to develop even more. Because there are people out there that are not so gentle, or they don't care, or for whatever reason, I don't want to say why or how, but it can happen. And then sometimes, yes, they practically profit on this weakness and then just build on it. But yeah, I really hope that those people are not so many, and that's why I really hope that at least for this audience, I made just a little difference. And then if you feel weak from this perspective, then at least you are aware. And if this evil person tries to do something, then maybe you are aware, and then you can at least put some protection. So yes, there are.
One more question back there. I'm coming over.
Hi, very good presentation. Thanks for that. I wanted to ask about something else. So you presented a lot regarding what to do by yourself, right? But people who suffer from depression in their lives, they know that one of the core problems with the depression, to get out of the depression, is that it's literally impossible for them to see the evidence, to see the facts. they have to go over a threshold to realize that, oh, that was not correct. I was misjudging whatever I was thinking about myself. So my question is, how can others help people with imposter syndrome? Or rather, were you helped at your job, or did you have people in the family who helped you? How can we detect people who suffer from this syndrome? And how do we create this safe environment for them?
That's right, what you said. With at least from what I know regarding depression, yes, it's very hard to see it yourself when you are in the state, or apparently when you are in this state, you cannot even act because of that. So it's kind of a very vicious cycle. But I shared one of the strategies, but just very shortly, what we can probably all do when we see such cases is just to be as supportive as possible, try to gently criticize, but doing some constructive criticize, especially remember the pull requests. It can be very violent, pull request reviews there, and there are some people are very weak, and then this can impact a lot. You have no idea. So I had a case in the company, and it was very brutal, and practically it was about for the person to practically quit the career because of that. So this is something that we can all do, to be gentle in how we do some constructive criticism, or from my perspective, to simply create a space of a space where the person feels safe for whatever reason. So, because this encourages the person with a problem to practically maybe at some point speak up. And if they speaks up, then you can create some connection. If you create some connection, then you can start feeding some help, some positive feedback, some guidance, and something that will help the person to start from the beginning to go back in the self-confidence state. And this is how probably you can help someone. But sometimes it might not work. And I know this might be hard to convince someone, but sometimes you will have to practically guide the person to some specialized help. This is a bit tricky, and in general, those people, they will say no because they don't need it. But if you see such a case sometimes, because, for example, I'm not a specialist, maybe you are not as well, then it's good to simply guide the person to a specialized other person who can really, really help, because it has this profession to help other people. I really hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Ioana. Please feel free to... Yeah.